he was dating this girl. He wasn't really feeling this girl. He wasn't really into her physically or emotionally. He would say she's the perfect girlfriend. I just don't feel for her what she feels for me. He knew for a long time that he needed to break up with her, right? But he didn't. Instead, he led her on and he dated her and he dated her and he dated her. And he would bitch to me intermittently because it was kind of hard for me to talk to him during that relationship. I didn't respect that at all. Honestly, I didn't. He would say things like, he would just say things that really bothered me. If you don't think someone's pretty enough for you, well, you should go find a prettier girlfriend, okay? Jesus Christ. I have a lot of things I want to say instead, but that right there, okay? If your girlfriend's not pretty enough for you, find a prettier girlfriend. Don't use whatever you have to bide your time, or whatever the fuck he was using her for. But yeah, she was more into him than he was her. He knew he was leading her on. That's using someone, okay? So I just ash and I put my cigarettes out on this rug. That's where I'm at in life. I mean, seriously, fuck it. Everybody steals my shit. I lost all my shit 3 years ago, almost. Tomorrow, 3 years ago. Anyway, so he's using this girl and she won't break up with him. He's trying to make her break up with him after 2 years, right? She doesn't catch on, blah, 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 blah. And he's like holding it against her. He's talking all this shit because she's not catching on to the fact that he's trying to make her break up with him. Oh, what a bitch, right? I mean, I can't stress enough. This guy said that she was an otherwise perfect girlfriend. He didn't feel the same way, right? That she felt for him. And so finally they break up, however it went. They finally break up. He had no business keeping in any contact with her, if you ask me. Whatsoever. Why, But they keep in contact and they have a couple of arguments. And she says one really ugly thing, but she immediately tried to make it right and apologize. She was in love with him. Okay? She was in love with him, and he thinks he has a right to speak for her. He thinks he can say she never loved him because she's just not deep enough. Just stupid shit like that, okay? They keep in touch, and he goads her, and he fights with her, and he, forwards me these texts like he's bragging. He's like, I made her misspell a word, look at me. And I'm just so appalled and so disgusted because I tend to think more highly of this guy, right? I don't realize what a sexist pig he is yet. Not totally, And it's starting to dawn on me at this point, obviously. But he's bragging about this argument they had. And I'm like, okay. So anyway, he decides that she was abusive to him. He decides that she raped him during their first sexual encounter that I heard all about, okay? And he was saying nothing but favorable things about it in real time at the time that it was happening, And I had just told him I'm a survivor of a non-violent rape, okay? And I told him that. And so you know what I mean? Fuck you, asshole. Throwing that shit around like that. And I'm not saying men can't be raped, because I can argue that for a long time. Yes, they can. Not just by other men. Yes, they can be raped by women. And I'm definitely not saying that women can't be abusive, but all of the sudden she's abusive. All of the sudden she raped him. And he's frothing at the mouth as he talks about it. And we're video chatting, right? I have to get off the line with him. He starts making me sick. I feel sick because he's screaming into the thing. He's screaming about the fact that it took her so long to give him a blowjob when they were dating. He's screaming about the fact that it took her 2 years to tell him she had ADD. Those are no woman owes this motherfucker a blowjob right away. Never. You never owe a man a blowjob. Ever. And I'm sorry, any kind of a mental health thing, like her ADD, she doesn't, Goosebumps talking about it. These are very, just, what a piece of shit. You know what I mean? All of a sudden he needs to not feel like a bad guy, so he's gonna pretend and just conjure up this whole thing where it's like, oh, he was abused and he was raped on their first sexual encounter. Oh God, dude. Screaming into the fucking FaceTime about how it took her so long to give him a blowjob, and she didn't tell him she had AIDS. I mean, what the, he's a piece of shit. And I've really been thinking about it. I don't want to be friends with him, you know? Like, I thought he was a different person. I thought he was better than that. And he's been really uptight lately because I've called him out on some sexist things. And he's like, I know you're really sensitive. No, you know what? Yeah, okay, sure, I'm sensitive. I was born sensitive, first of all, motherfucker. But secondly, like, you're sexist either way, you know? Like, maybe I'm more prone to saying something in my sensitive state lately, right? But you're being sexist. It's not my sensitivity that's inferring it as such. You're being sexist pig, you know? 6 minutes. This will take all goddamn day to upload, so I'll stop right here.